So strap in and get ready.
The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Matrix, and Whisperer.
Yes. G'day, guys. Hope everyone's well. Welcome back to the Insight NRL Show. Round 9 of NRL Supercoach is in the books. It's done and dusted, and we're here to bring you all of the review, all of the look back on the week that has been on the Supercoach Brain, and the Supercoach Whisperer is with me as always, mate. How was your weekend? Hopefully better than the weather.
Yeah, shocking weather. On the men, still a little bit of a cough, but we're improving. But I'll tell you what, this week was a tale of two. Couldn't have got off to a better start, and it slowly went downhill ever since. But not too bad, mate. Scored a 11.78, let down by DWZ, who I don't know must have done something to his teammates inside him this week because he just got no ball, and the bunker obviously hate him as well, and had to buy David Armstrong and played him, which wasn't great. All week we were saying we were trading Terrell May and getting Britton Nickera, and then obviously the JWH news came out, so we kept May, which was nice, but had to play Armstrong, which wasn't too great. But yeah, you had a good week. I see that you and I played each other in one league, and I don't have the W, which only means you do.
Yeah, look, not a bad week. It feels like maybe I'm a little bit ahead of par. 12.36. Had the Terrell May, which was nice. I nearly sold him and obviously reversed as well a number of times, like you mentioned with the JWH news. So that was nice. Angus Crichton, he went large for nearly everybody, but he's still 30% of super coaches don't own him in the top 10%. So I'd imagine they're going to be sliding this week. Had the captain on Nico like everyone. Ruben Garrick, 102 was nice as well, but also had some stinkers. Copped a bit of heat on the Trey Fuller trading.
We'll get to that. Jesus Christ.
That's a big divider of the Supercoach community, wasn't it? That move itself. So we'll talk about that and how we're going to play that out moving forward as well. But guys, we're live as we always are. So let us know how you went this weekend. I've seen some pretty big scores out there, so hopefully a few of our watchers and listeners are holding on to that.
Best I've seen. I put up my weekly wrap up post, and I think I saw a 15.60, but no proof to back it up. But yeah. It's a weird claim. Weird lie to make if you are lying, but 15.60 is the biggest I've seen. Yeah,
and whenever you put those posts up, it's always the people that do really well that tell you their score as well. So, but anyway, good luck to them if they did get 15.60. That's huge. But guys, we'll jump into things. But before we do, hit subscribe and like. We would appreciate that. And of course, if you're listening to us on audio, hit that follow button and leave us a review. And of course, if you want to win some apparel, you see Josh has got the jumper on. He's also got the hat on, and I've got the beanie and the shirt. So you can basically see it all on show here at the moment, which is cool. If you want to win yourself some apparel, some Insight Fantasy Sports apparel we just got made, all you need to do is give us a 5-star review on audio. That's Spotify or Apple, and you'll go in the running, and we're giving away one piece of apparel each week for the next 4 weeks. So you can see Josh with the hat on there.
These jumpers are very, very fleecy and very, very warm and very comfortable. So get your reviews in because they are really, really nice.
And if you don't want to just kind of go in the running to win, and you actually want to buy them, you can. So we've got the Insight Fantasy Sports shop up now. So the link is in the description below. You can go and buy some stuff and go and rep Insight Fantasy Sports, which we would love you to do. Mate, let's just dive into these games to kick things off. The Thursday night game, the Panthers 42 beat the Rabbitohs 12. Look, no surprise in the outcome really in this one, but yeah, a bit of a slower start for the Panthers before they took off in the second half.
Yeah, obviously the huge news was Cleary being ruled out. Like we knew on Wednesday, which feels like so long ago, but yeah, was named and didn't play and sent everyone into a frenzy. But Brad Schneider took over and went really well. He scored an 89, but yeah, top score by Luke Garner with a 118. But yeah, the Rabbitohs were on top. I think it was 12-0 after about 12 minutes. And it just capitulated from there. South had the top score of 53, which sort of tells you everything you need to know. I've got no interest on anyone at this front. We'll get onto injury reports on Tuesday, but Cam Murray out could have some big implications for not only Souths, but for also Tallis Duncan. He could definitely be a candidate. I think he is 350. I think has a relatively okay break even, so can wait a week if named this week. But we saw our boy Jai Arrow go down yet again. What a season he's had. It's been a wild ride for him.
Yeah, he's had a tough one. And look, they were trying to hopefully squeeze as much juice out of him as possible before he needed shoulder surgery at the end of the year. So who knows? They might fast track that. You never know what's going on with him, but you can't keep putting him out on the park every single week and expecting him to play at full 100%. That's not going to happen. But yeah, I guess Dylan Edwards, man, like 111 again, just keeps every single week we talk about him. Like, how many hundreds is that this year? I think that's his 4th 100, and he's also got an 89 and a 95. So he's basically had 6 scores in 9 rounds above 89. Like, he's probably priced out now, right? He's probably going to be closer to 950K now. Like, is he just a guy now that we take a punt on and maybe he doesn't play Origin, or do we just sit back and wait?
I don't know. Like you and I both have a fullback size hole to fill this week with one injury to Pappenhausen. But like, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at Challenge today, and it's just like I'm paying way overs for Dill, but he's ultra consistent. The only concern is the scores with Cleary in the side are his 2 bad ones. I mean, a 40 in round 1 against Melbourne. Look, that's good, 0 points, whatever. And in that Broncos game around, he scored 56. I think Cleary put on about 140. So you look at those games. Cleary played rounds 1, 2, and 3, and Edwards scored 40, 116, 56. And then he's gone 120, 119, 89, 95, and then now 111. Like, he's just the primary ball handler on that right-hand side when Cleary's not in the side. And then the question becomes, like, do we really want him and Cleary? And the answer is probably no, but fullback is actually quite slim pickings, unless we want to torture ourselves with the re-emerging Latrell Mitchell next week. It's getting a little bit grim. Hey, I know I said it to you boys in the chat, didn't I? I was like, when Jai Gray went down, I was like, is there any chance we go back if he's not playing Origin, if he's pulled himself out of Origin, like, is there any chance we go back to the trial well?
It's funny because you put it in the chat and I'm like, fuck, I was looking.
Matthew Granger, get around it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. So we're not the only ones looking at him. I mean, he burned us in that. And when I say burnt, he just didn't score hundreds. Like, he still scored okay. Like, we weren't overly disappointed from a big picture standpoint, but yeah, we were picking him in a pretty friendly draw there, and he didn't really perform. But yeah, he does have some friendly games coming up through that early Origin or lead into Origin / early Origin period. So yeah, he'd be a definite early watch.
The big concern was Jai Gray, like the talk that Jai Gray was playing fullback and Trell playing center, but Jai Gray suffering a Cindus Mitchell-Moses injury. It leaves him a little bit non as an option, and Trell has to go back to fullback, and it's just like, what do you do then? So definitely one to monitor. South had a lot of banged up players after this game. Dan Hawkins and Cam Murray were the 2 major ones, and obviously Jai Gray as well. So definitely keep an eye on them. From the Panther side of things, I don't know about you, mate, but I'm not particularly looking at Luke Garner, so we can skip over him. We've chatted on Dill. Brad Schneider is the ultimate backup, and then you really just go down to like someone like Isaiah Yeo, who now is going to miss, a good portion of the season through Origin. So it's a little bit how you going.
Let's talk about the Yam though, because
the Yam. He was setting the tone. He was the first of 3. We should have seen it coming. First week of May, we should have seen it coming. But it's funny, like everyone. It's so I don't own Taylor May, but I was very happy for the people that did hold him, because like you lost money at this point. It was always going to come back. And people can be so negative. Like, people can't celebrate other people's wins. Like, you saw when both Mays went over, they were like, yeah, well, he hasn't had a good score all season, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, just be happy for the people that held. Like, he got a 76, looked really good. He can put down 30 of those points to South's absolutely piss poor retreat defense off the back of a kick dead. But yeah, no, well done to the Yam owners that did hold him, because 74 is a nice score. Yeah,
and he features in our hold section of buy, hold, and sell nearly every single week, because he is well sold for the majority of the time, because he was so well owned to start the season. But like, he lost so much cash that he's still on a good team and he's still a good player. It's not like he forgot how to play football. The ball just wasn't going to his side. And what we saw from Jerome Luai the other night, probably not exactly promising for anybody who's hoping for these scores to continue, because all he did was just jink off his left and cut back in every single time he got the ball, which is why Brian To'o was caught a cold the last month. He got 34 again in this one. He's going to drop massive cash, but he'll be playing Origin. So there's no real win there. It's not even like we can pick up a basement price Brian To'o for the buy rounds, because he's not going to be around. Speaking of Isaac Tungo as well, as someone who probably did get a little bit more opportunity, but he got sin bin for that hip drop and he will miss 1 week. Am I right?
Yeah, 1 week, just due to no prior convictions on him. So he is out. Thank you so much, Shorty, for the $2.99 donation. Yeah, the yam indeed. But yeah, Tango's going to be out. You'd expect more ball to go to Mayside next week, which is always good for him. And that break even should start getting a little bit lower now, and that money that you'd have lost should start getting to be made up. And then look, you could probably look to sell him on. I don't know. Like, I think he's a guy that will never reach, unless he goes in like a super run of like back-to-back hundreds. He'll never get to like 600k where you can cash out. So he might be a guy that you end up just holding for the season, and you running him as your center wing 5 or 6, and you're playing him just based off matchups at the back end of the season. So don't hate that at all. But yes, very average game. With the writing was on the wall after Panthers picked up their mojo, but this game wasn't off the wall. Seaeagles 24, Raiders 26. Tell you what, as a non-Tom Trbojevic owner, I was not mentally well at halftime. I was struggling. I was like, oh boy, this is, and I'm sure you were terrified because you sold him to Trey Fuller. You're probably thinking, what have I done? Like, what's going on?
And you know what? I was fully prepared for it, if I'm completely honest. Like, I knew that when you're going to move on a guy like Turbo, he's going to punish you. So 75 at halftime, I'm thinking, okay, if he gets 120, 130, then I can kind of live with it. And he scored a 17-point second half, which was amazing. And then obviously everybody come out of the woodwork. All of the people that held Turbo came out of the woodwork on Twitter, basically saying, well, Turbo still got 90 and that's all well and good and that's fine. And, kind of just saying, you should have held. And obviously they were probably right in an instance, but we'll talk about Trey Fuller a little bit later. But yeah, I think we got away with it. Any non-owner of Turbo got away with what could have been 150 plus in a very favourable matchup against the Raiders this week, and we knew he was going to go large. So I think, I think you'd be happy. Correct me if I'm wrong here. You'd be happy as a non-owner, but you'd also be happy as an owner.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if I didn't watch the game and I could only score at halftime, I saw he was on 75, and then to see him finish on 92, yeah, you'd be over the moon. And at the end of the day, 92 is still a good score. I know it didn't pan out the way it does, but Supercoach isn't like for like. You don't score 75 in one half and 75 in the next, unless you're a middle forward. Like, that's not really how it works. So yeah, you take the good with the bad, and that's why trades really can't be evaluated. Like, you can't look at Fuller for Turbo as a 1-for-1 because people had the cash and they went from a Schiller to a Ruben Garrick, who scored 102 points this week. Again, just solidifying his status as a top 4 center wing this season. Once again, egg on our face because we weren't overly keen. With a 61 break even, he won't go up too much. He'll be about 630k next week, which is still a wonderful price to buy him at. I've got a lot of cash in reserve, and I'm definitely eyeing him off. I'm just worried about the draw coming up, but he has been immense this season. Braino, that is his second 100 of the season, but does also have 2 90s in there as well. So you take out that one against the Penrith Panthers, yeah, he is looking really, really good. And he didn't even have his goal kicking boots on in this game either. So scary stuff.
Yeah, it's that one that he scored with that HIA was the only reason he lost cash this year. When you look at his scores, like when he started the season, he started relatively well. Just trying to this interface for the new app.
Yeah, he's gone from 722 up to 753. Did lose 5k, went down to 748, but that's break even in the grand scheme of things. And then lost 50k off the back of the one, lost another 90k, and then lost 4k. So take out that one, that rolling average, he's probably hoovering around that 730. And that's what you started the season with him at. So, yeah, as a non-owner myself, like counting myself lucky that I can jump on him at a discount. But realistically, yeah, he'll be 630 this week, and he really should be 730, 735.
He'll be after this week, you'll be buying him for mid 700s because he had a break even of 4 and he scored 100 and 102. So he'll be a little bit over 700k or maybe a little bit sub 700K for next week.
This week or next week? Oh no, he's breaking. What am I looking at? I hate this user interface. I'm looking at the projected score, and that's where the old. Oh no, he's gonna be so expensive now. I'm not gonna be able to get him. Oh, I keep thinking that project because that's where the old break even used to be, where the projected was. So I was like, oh, he's break even 61 this week, so it's not too bad. Oh,
and
that's disastrous.
I love Supercoach giving him an 88% likelihood of scoring a break even of 4 as well. Like you had to kick one goal and do nothing else.
To be fair. He does have a score below 4 this year, so you can't completely. But apart from that, on the Seaeagles side, there isn't a whole lot to chat about. DCA with a 72, and then it just drops off a cliff dramatically there. It's just, really grim.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. Luke Brooks, 41. Hopefully most people have jumped off him by now. It looks like 4,000 people jumped off. 361 people thought he was going to go pretty well this week and bought him. So that's an interesting play. Maybe the last minute panic when Cleary was ruled out, they thought, I'll just go back to Brooks again. I'm assuming most of those people are casual though.
15 tackles, 5 misses for Brooks.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
great stuff.
Everyone knows how we feel about him, so we won't rub it in too much. But Raiders, what's going on with the Raiders, mate? Elliot Whitehead seemed to be in absolutely everything. It's funny because I kind of torched him in the Discord a little bit and said he was washed, and then he just went fucking ballistic.
Oh, no, he does this. He has one game a year where he looks like, prime Angus Crichton, and then next week he'll go back to scoring 35. So that's just him. But yeah, both edges went well. Obviously, Hudson Young, good friend of the show, scored a 72, which is great for him. KO Wreaks, though, I want to have a chat about him because fullback 5'8" eligible. We have chatted about the lack of fullback options and how, prominent center wing is this year, and you can always, put a Wreaks back there, you can put a Kale Iro back there and be a comfortable play. But he looked really good in a side that was well beaten. I've got no concerns over his spot, being lost. His first game of the season did score a 38, and then obviously scored a 70 on this week. Makes some good cash. He's not bottom dollar. He's 273K. Is he a guy that you're looking to pick up, not next week, the week after, considering they have the bye next week?
I think it's not at fullback, but 5'8" is obviously a place for Wreaks where you can happily plug him as your 5'8" too. I think moving forward, especially if you're not aiming to upgrade back to Dylan Brown, or you're not looking at Munster because it's getting a bit close to Origin. It's slim pickings at 5'8". It has been this year. It's been a pretty shit position. So if you can make some cash in that position again, great. And if you're someone like me who has Tamari Martin, who is literally just fucking doing nothing for you at the moment and starting to bleed cash, he'll lose about 30 odd grand this week. So he'll be back down to 410. Obviously, the problem with that is that KO Wreaks doesn't get a price rise until another fortnight. So you've got to potentially see another week of Tamari Martin in that situation, which isn't ideal. But I'm definitely looking at him for sure. Not for Galvin. I think I want to keep Galvin in 5'8". But
I was about to say we might only have 2 weeks left of a certain Tigers 5'8". So it'll be a good conversation to have in a couple weeks' time. Galvin may have peaked by then, and I'm not too sure if he can go much bigger if the Tigers are going to continue to suck. But yeah, Wreaks is definitely on the watch list, and then probably will be on the buy radar in 2 days' time. 2 weeks' time. Denny Levi decided to do something this week and not just rely on bullshit tries, and scored a 51 pretty much all in BP, which is really good for owners of him. Joey Tarp's 49. He is bottoming out quite nicely, but I don't know if I can jump on until I start to see more. And we go from there. And Schiller didn't play, which was great. And then Ethan Strange scored a 44 with a 110 break even. So I think if you held him, you just stick it out.
Yeah, I think so. Coming back to Tarpany, I'm just quickly trying to look at his minutes because from what I've seen, his minutes actually haven't been that bad. It just seems like his PPM's down a little bit. He only played 45 minutes in this one. So minutes are down, which is where the score comes from.
Yeah, I mean, minutes have been good apart from that. They've been slowly dropping off, 56, 51, 52. Went through a stretch of 60, 56, 68. And that was in that game against the Titans where I think I went to extra time. Yep. And then 54, 45 last week against the Sharks where they just got absolutely trounced. So he's probably sitting somewhere around that 55. And we know historically he's sort of a 1.1, 1.2 ppm kind of guy. So yeah, he's a guy that definitely looking at picking up sometime soon. 623K heading into this week with a 83 break even. Could be somewhere in that 580 vicinity. And hey, I mean, there's another Yam that we'll talk about soon. he could have made all back the cash he lost in that period of time. So Tapine could be a good jump off point.
Could be. He absolutely could be. But I bailed on a couple of my Raiders players this week I Strange last week and then Schiller this week. So I don't really have too many left aside from Smithies. That might be a problem for a fortnight's time, but we'll play it by ear. Let's move into the next one, shall we? You got the Broncos who got trounced by the Roosters in the end, 40-18 at Suncorp as well. I'm not sure how many people saw that one coming, but I think I saw some stats floating around about the fact that the Roosters have knocked off the Broncos like 8 in the last 10 visits to Suncorp. So writing was on the wall there a little bit. And I'll tell you who took it personally, Angus Crichton, 151 Supercoach points. He was huge.
Has he been the best edge back rower in the last 4 years as a collective? And I think people will say no because of the fact that he had one bad season. Since like 2020, he's been the best back rower, in my opinion, like consistently.
I'm with you on that, 100%. I mean, everybody just forgets because he had one bad year and kind of went off the planet for a year and disappeared, and then now he's back doing what we remember him to do for so long before that. Isn't it amazing how just 1 year of nothing just kind of completely writes off half a decade of good footy? But yeah, he'll be playing some. I'll be very surprised if he's not playing in a sky blue jersey in a few weeks' time.
I think with the injury to Cam Murray, it really solidifies it. I actually have him starting in my New South Wales team, just personally. And then, 151. Talking about Origin, though, it's been a bit of chat around one Connor Watson, who one of us said was a good buy a couple of weeks ago and got laughed at. But, he can cover 13, he can cover 9, he can cover 6, probably can play in the centres if he has to. I'm sure he can do a better job in the centres than what Damien Cook did last year. But any love for Connor Watson playing 14 for the Blues?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think he's that kind of perfect Swiss Army knife kind of guy, but he's also like that real kind of, he's got that mongrel in him that I think the Blues need. Queensland have a lot of those kind of guys that New South Wales just don't. So, and no, Matrix didn't bail on us because the Broncos lost.
It was compounded because he got the lowest score out of the three of us and the Broncos lost.
Yeah, we've made a new rule now that if you score the lowest out of the three, you get punted for the week. So now he's having a holiday as usual. So he'll be back on.
Block never works. But yeah, Connor Watson 125. Like I said a couple weeks ago, he was a good purchase. He's going to be much more expensive now. He had a break even of 4, so he's going to be 550. I can't go there at 550, but. Yeah, I mean, shout out if you did jump on like 3 weeks ago when I said so, but yeah, I can't touch it 550 now.
Nah, yeah, it's tough because he's playing 80 minutes in the middle. Like obviously with Brandon Smith going down, there's no real word around his injury yet at the moment, but he was prepared to come back out if they needed him to. Obviously, they just didn't need him to in this game. So, yeah, I think that there is every chance Connor Watson probably plays more of a relevant role and does a bit of kind of lock/hooker. So yeah, I don't mind it. It's just too expensive. But let's talk about Terrell May because 16,000 people traded him out. That's 7% of Supercoach.
I'll tell you what, you could get that gist on social media this weekend. It's so fun. Like people, like you can tell who people don't own just by. I don't want to say salty, but like it's fun. Like it's funny. Oh, it'll be shit next week. Well, yes, but let's just enjoy the week that we got. Like two tries, 2 line breaks, Terrell May. It's really interesting because Trent Robinson has said like Terrell May has no rotation. Like there's no
reliability with these minutes.
Yeah, it's if you play good, I'll play you 50. You play shit, you play 25. So it's really in his control. Like you can't sell now. Like you're gonna have 120 in the rolling average for 3 weeks. You cannot sell. But Spencer Lenny's back next week, and it's just gonna be like, fuck. Can you play him?
It just complicates things. You know what? He's the perfect front row forward 3, and if you can try and make that happen somehow with Sam Hughes, who's going to be hitting 400k this week or very close to 400k, if you can upgrade Sam Hughes and just leave Terrell May on the bench and play him when you know that he's going to get more favourable minutes based on what the bench looks like, that's probably the play. I just hate spending so much money and having 3 guys above 500k in the front row forwards. But yeah, the good thing is his break even will be 16 next week. So it's a problem for future us. And if you can try and not play him next week or find a way not to play him, if again, You probably bench him and he scores 100. But I think it's a
know
problem.
how smug that 16,000 are going to be next week, though, when he scores 28 points in 26
100%.
minutes.
Absolutely. Just about as smug as I'm going to be when fucking Trey Fuller scores 120 next week. That's going to be the measuring stick. How happy I am.
We'll talk Trey Fuller, but I said to you, is there a world where he can kill it in fantasy and suck in Supercoach? I was like, nah, that can't happen. And he did it, which was amazing. I own him in fantasy. But yeah, Terrell May, absolute stud, 2 tries. I mean, take that out. He still scored 60 odd. So absolutely take that to the bank. And it just really helps with that 96 break even that he managed to avoid, which was really nice. Tedesco, 112, always an option. But there's just so much uncertainty with his minutes over the next 8 weeks with Origin. Mate, Teddy was 591k.
Man, we were starting to have a conversation about like mid 550k. Can you pick Teddy up even if he's going to play Origin or not? Because that's just the cheapest you'll ever get him. I think I don't remember the last time he's dropped under 550k in the last decade. So
it's ridiculous. But 61 break even, so he'll bounce back to sort of mid 600s. But yeah, I mean, if he doesn't play Origin, of course he will be there. Him and Terrell, probably my 2 fullbacks over Origin. Imagine that. Imagine having Terrell and Teddy in your teams and not being worried about Origin.
Yeah, that would be so good. But probably not to be. I mean, there was heaps of conversation around whether Teddy's good enough. And after Dylan Edwards had another great game Thursday night, it was like, oh, well, it's Dylan Edwards' spot. And then Teddy came out and performed. Like, Teddy actually hasn't been bad this year. Like, he's actually played better this year than he did last year. So, it's so hard not to pick the captain. And I know everyone's saying he's the incumbent captain, but the series was lost by New South Wales as well. So, like, incumbency doesn't count when you lose the series and all this other shit. I still think it's Teddy's, to be honest.
I'm a Queenslander and you'll be outnumbered during Origin, but like I'd prefer to see Teddy picked. I'd hate to see Edwards picked. I hate to see Edwards and Cleary picked. It'd just terrify me. But shout out to him. Shout out to Dom Young as well, 84. Are we getting back into Dom Young buy territory? Have we finally got over the minus 15 and the disaster that it was when people bought him for that 2 break even and he scored about 30 combined points over 2 weeks when you take out the minus 15? Like, he had the 101 break even this week, so he will lose another 20 odd K. He'll be low 500s. Can we get back on the Dom Young train?
I think we can. It was 15 points, net points total over that fortnight as well, because I remember very succinctly. But that hurt. But the problem is, I mean, it's not a problem. You got to look at it. He plays the first major bye, but he misses round 14. So you've got to look at your round 14 numbers, like we mentioned the other week. But he plays 13 and 16, misses round 19. So that's a pretty good fixture, really, when you're looking at someone to cover buys.
Mate, it doesn't get much fucking better, though. I mean, you got the Warriors, Sharks, Raiders, Cowboys, bye. Para, Bulldogs, Tigers, St. George, bye.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good run. I'm really tempted by it because you need these guys. You need these high upside centre wing, and Alex Johnson's not in good form. He's been injured, but Souths haven't been in good form. He's the guy that we always sort of look to at this point of the season where we're like, we'll take a high upside guy, especially in these best 13 weeks where if Dom Young scores you 20, it's not the end of the world. Like, he's the guy that I think I'm going to be sort of looking at and trying to target.
Yeah, absolutely. Shorty is in the chat saying Bostock to Young. If you've got Bostock, it's the perfect move. You can actually make money from it this week. So Bostock's stopped out.
Held Schiller. I think it might cost you 100k. And people are going to jump on Armstrong this week, so you're going to have plenty of cash to downgrade.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like Dom Young and Manu, like for anybody who has Manu, are you jumping on Dom Young as well and just loading up on Roosters with that draw?
Fuck, you could score 230 points, or you could score about 40.
Yeah, and I guess the appeal for Manu is that he's going to play fullback when Teddy's out. But assuming Teddy gets the Origin jersey, Manu will go to fullback, which is where a lot of the appeal is. And the problem is, like, there's so much appeal with the fullback position for Manu that we just kind of write him off at centre, and we shouldn't be, considering looking at his scores. He's got another 83 this week. And if we go back to the games where he didn't play fullback, he scored 87 against St. George, 68 against Melbourne. It was at 117 that he got at fullback in round 6 against Newcastle.
And about 100 of that was in fucking base as well.
Yes, yeah. So
I want to highlight sort of this question about Tungo Young. I know Hamo. I'm not sure if he's in the chat tonight, but Hamo asked about Hamole last week. I think these keepers are fine, like 1 or 2 week holds. And like, I know you probably bought Tungo at like a sky high price and it sucks to see him lose as much. But I still think he's a top 7 center wing. I think these 1 week injuries or suspensions, I would just swallow it and play a man down. So that's just my 2 cents on those ones. It's not like Dom Young a couple of weeks ago where it was 3-4 weeks on the sideline where that does really chew up your salary that you got on the bench there. But that's going to wrap up the Rooster side of things. Ezra Mayer finally had a good score. He was on 80 with about 20 minutes to go, and he is still yet to score 100 points in Supercoach. Him and I think Cooper Cronk. Cooper Cronk never scored 100 points in his Supercoach career. And I thought Man was finally going to break that duck egg, but didn't. Finished on an 84. As did Tony Staggs. Oh, goodness me. Pat Carrigan, 69. Ricky, 66. Whatever. Haas, 52. I'm loving to see this. I want to see more of this from Payne Haas. Give me a couple more weeks of mid-50s while you ease back into it. I'll really appreciate that one.
I think that the problem, everyone's kind of hoping through the origin period, maybe he plays lesser minutes or he backs up and plays one half or something. That never happens. Payne Haas always backs up and always plays 60 minutes fucking 3 days after origin. So we're not going to get that. But it is good to see his price drop as a non-owner. Absolutely. But
Walsh has got a 51. But apart from that, not a whole lot of relevance. Brendan Piacora. He sucks. He sucks. Like from a Supercoach standpoint, he just sucks, doesn't he?
Yeah, his base isn't. I mean, we said this at the start of the season. I even started with him just hoping that he'd find some attacking stats. I mean, aside from getting knocked out in the first few minutes in Vegas with that 4, he gone 48, 57, 55. The 48 was kind of in base power, but then the 57 and the 55 were with a try assist involved and a line break assist. So, yeah, there's not much promise there, I guess, for him as a long-term option, unfortunately.
The problem is he suffers from the Angus Crichton syndrome, where anyone in the back line gets injured, you go straight to center, my friend, and you're done. And like Angus Crichton suffered from that for so long.
Yeah. There's a bit going on in Broncos land as well with obviously Adam Reynolds' bicep tendon rupture. So he's going to miss 12 weeks, I think it was. So he'll be back around 22, 23 based on what NRL physio is saying. So he'll be back before the end of the regular season, which is good for Broncos. But yeah, they've got to make the top 8, without Adam Reynolds. So big interest. I'm very keen to watch how Ezra Mam either steps up or doesn't step up over this period.
Yeah, I was encouraged because him and Walshy, both went really well when Reynolds went off. But just on Piacora, shock horror, guy who scores 2 tries a game is good and scores 70, but guy who doesn't score 2 tries is not good. So I'd be cutting my losses with him. He's 441. He barely covered the break even. I just sell. Like I don't know who to. I would just sell because he's not a play and he's not cheap enough to be like, we can swallow it. It's not like he's 320. This is like nearly 500k that you're sitting there on the pine being like, can you just fucking do something, please?
Yeah, he's definitely move on territory. Get off now. And there's a few good options. So Bulldogs 22, Tigers 14. Probably skip through this one. Nice and quick.
This game, Matt Burton top scored Matt Burton pre-updates scored with a top score with a 69. I mean, it's been updated to a 73 and Bull got a 76. Like in a game where there was 36 points, worrying. We're not a footy podcast. I'm not going to go in depth on the whole Casey Badger thing, but just not good. Like it's not even a gender thing. It's just like she's just not good.
No, but that's the problem. As soon as someone doesn't agree with anything centered around Casey Badger, the gender conversation pops up, which it shouldn't. But
because Belinda Sharp's a great referee.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. But anyway, let's probably not touch that one too much.
Matt Burton 73. I think based off my criteria, he's still the 5'8" one. I mean, he's behind Munster in terms of averages, but he's played more games, so great. I keep asking you in the chat, when are you finally going to admit that it's Reid Marnie season?
It's like some seriously deep PTSD.
I got heaps, but it's not just 2 weeks anymore.
No, he's covered. So he potentially pretty much covers his break even here, 77 break even. So like he'll lose 5k. So he'll be 645k. I mean, do you want to spend that much at hooker?
Not now, fucking 650k, but I mean, that's just putrid. But he's only had 2 scores below 50 all season.
He has been good. I'm not going to go and say that he's been bad or that, it's whatever's not warranted. Like he's been great. And if he performed like this for me last year, I'd be stoked. But he didn't. He decides to perform when I don't have him. So, but no, you're probably right on that one. He has been pretty good.
I mean, Hooker hasn't been that bad when you think of it. Like, yeah, Grant sucked, but like Robson's been pretty good. James Kay's been good. Marnie's been pretty good.
I mean, like
it's not elite.
So it's like, no, that's right. But again, it's one of those positions where you don't really want to have to pay up too much because there's zero upside or minimal upside aside from Harry Grant. But then Harry Grant's upsides miraculously disappeared this year, which is lovely. So I did have I think we had a bolter bet on that. I have not done the stats on today, but it was centered around the weather. Our friend in the Discord, he's cloud capable. His name is. I hope he's.
I was going to say, I didn't have a bolter bet. What's happening?
Yeah, no, I had a bolter bet with him that we would go under 1,700 average points per game due to the weather this weekend. And I think we were averaging 1,546 points per game before today. And
was he a weather non-believer?
Yeah. He said the weather isn't a factor this year, and I obviously said that it was. And I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have Bolter on my doorstep this week.
No, because it's not even like the good players will outperform the weather, but like there's less good players than there is shit players. So like all the shit players are going to suffer, and all the middle forwards are going to do fuck all.
Yeah, shout out to Matty Sherwood in the chat. I'll do the numbers, but like I'm pretty confident I've got it. 1,433 points in Bulldogs Tigers, and we saw today the impact that the weather can have when it's pissing down. You see so many handling errors. You see a lot of the big boys through the middle of the field taking hit ups, and the football isn't anywhere near as expansive. And you see guys like Dallin Watene-Zelezniak who can't even get out of a stride, start running sideways and shit because they know they're going to get taken into touch. So like there's just so many negatives centered around really heavy wet weather games. So yeah, it wasn't good. But anyway, back to this game. We've got Josh Curran, 63, obviously continues to put up decent scores, but scored a try off a kick. I mean, it might have been a little bit less appealing, that 63, when you take off the 17. It wouldn't have exactly been happy with the sub 50, but he's just a lock and load front row forward every week.
Sorry, did you say your bet was for average of 1,700 points?
Yeah, across every game.
Yeah. Only 3 of those games went above 1,700 for the round, so you smashed that.
That was also minus the Dolphins game as well that was dry. So we were going to take that out, which had 1,800 points.
They scored like 1,850.
Yeah.
Oh, easy bet. Easy free beer. Yeah, Josh Curran, great, 63 with a line break try. Amazing. Was brought off pretty early, which was a little bit sad, but whatever. My bet in this game got up. I think I backed either team to win by 10 or less. And when the Tigers were playing with 11 men for the last 6 minutes, I was like, oh God.
Doesn't matter. Our multi was dead anyway because I lost it in the first fucking game. Yeah.
But yeah, sure, cool. Apart from that, no one else talk about Jacob Carraz. If you don't follow Gus Gould's Twitter, sounds like he's fucked his foot.
No, I think it was medial knee, right knee or something. But it was just pain. If Aman's still in the chat, Aman was pretty upset about it, and so was I because I boosted to get Carraz and make Carraz in. And yeah, I mean, 48 in base power alone, like no attacking stats at all. Like you can't complain about a center wing that puts up 50 in base power, but yeah.
No, but when Garrick scored 102 and Asako scored,
Asako was the decision. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the hard part because Asako and Carraz were kind of priced around the same mark within like 30K. And there's a 100-point swing there.
Yeah, anyway, so I have a friend of mine who doesn't watch footy, but I make all these trades. I think we're ranked like 330th. I wish it was my fucking team, not my burner team. But yeah, I went Carraz in that team as well over Asako. I was just like, just the 30 from Asako put me off last week. The 30 after 74 minutes, I was like, I can't do it. So egg on the face there. For the Dogs, though, not talking about anyone else. Sam Hughes got a 39 kill, escapes a ban for, I don't know, doing something to Casey Medja. I don't know what, but he escaped a ban. For the Tigers, Jareem Bullard scored 76 points. Bateman, I don't want him at the club. I don't want him at the Tigers. I'm so off John Bateman as a player. But for Supercoach, 70 points, whatever. Jake Simkin with a 68. Obviously, Api Coruscant got a late withdrawal, which sort of left a lot of coaches scratching their heads. And then not much else to talk about, really. Samuel Afanu, 48, and Lockie Galvin, 45. Those two could have had more. Afanu was inches away from sort of breaking through and scoring. And that would have been a Galvin try assist, line break assist as well there. But, you take that from your 5'8", 2 and your 2 RF or front row forward 2 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about Galvin earlier about the potential that he's going to probably top out in price in the next fortnight. So I'm probably going to hold personally and try and move on to Murray Martin because I've got kind of one guy that's topped out before Galvin has, so that he's more of an urgent sell and get rid of him. But coming back to your Bateman point, from a Supercoach perspective, the amount of sideways running and little fucking palm offs and stuff that he does to accumulate points is fantastic, but it just absolutely like fucks our attack. But
he has no leadership
zero
either. He
structure.
loses his head so quickly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like
I'd be keen if he was gone.
we have no. I put this on X a couple weeks ago. Like we have no edges. Like I'm pretty keen to like not renew Isaiah Papali'i either. But we have no edges, so it's like I don't know. I just don't rate him at all. And yeah, hey, isn't it funny? Justin Olam, everyone went through mass hysteria saying that he was all of a sudden Supercoach relevant, and 6 years of data suggests he wasn't, and he reverts back to being utter dog shit. He had an 84, 81, and then 32, 38, 39, 17, 21.
Yeah, this is what you call a Supercoach catfish, my friends. The one where you just, it looks good initially, and then Tamari Martin, same kind of thing. Not to that extreme, but yeah, Olam was definitely never an option. Aiden Caesar, obviously, in this one as well, going to miss some time with that hip drop. Didn't even get binned, but gets, I think, 4 weeks now. Ian Johnson, I saw an update that he got offered 4 weeks if he did an early plea. So he'll miss a month of footy. Please, Benji, just let Latu Fainu play some football.
Yeah.
Do not bring Bud Sullivan back into this team.
Fuck.
Please.
Oh, Jaden Sullivan. How you going? Yeah, I mean, Latu Fainu also shouldn't be in the team at the moment because he's not a fucking 14.
No, but he can't pass off the ground. Like, wait, we shouldn't be using him at hooker. Like, it's hurting him more than anything. But anyway, this has become a Tigers rant podcast. But
we're just so
we're allowed to do that. Yeah, we're allowed. Bear with us.
Hey, Titans 20, Storm 22. Is the brim job a buy?
I saw this question in the chat earlier from Ian. Look, I wish I had the balls to do it 2 weeks ago when I said it. I never trust my own instincts, which I might probably start doing a little bit more. But what's he scored? 104 this week. We go back 94 last week. So, yeah, a little bit of 100 average over the last fortnight. And even like his scores here, 67, 56, 64, 80, like most of those were at centre as well. So, like, you give the boy a bit of space and get the ball in his hands and he's a fucking jet. Surprise. Shock.
The question is, though, where do you play him? Do you play him at centre wing or do you play him at oh, no, sorry. He doesn't have 5/8 dual. I thought he had 5/8 dual. No, he's centre wing fullback. Okay, you just play him at centre wing. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, he's been really good and he's getting his hands on the ball more and the Titans look really good with him getting more ball. And Tanner Boyd's now injured, so you probably think it's going to be a Brimson and Foran combination long term. And then, what happens at fullback with Jaden Campbell. But
yeah, I was going to say Campbell's not far away, is he?
No. But Boyd looks like he's out for a long period of time, so that probably just solves itself. Thankfully,
dislocated wrist, wasn't it? So
yeah, Fidesz has love.
Yeah.
Fifi, Panthers bound, apparently. If you read the reports that he met with the Panthers. I compared this to Kevin Durant joining the Warriors, and I rightly got slammed because people just all of a sudden don't rate David Fifita anymore. They think he's a bum. But, mate, if he goes to the Panthers, fuck that.
We're fucked. No one else wins.
We're done.
Just lock him up, give him the premiership. Nathan Cleary and fucking David Fifita working together.
I just pay. If they were both $1 million at the start of the season, I just pay it. Just
lock them in. Yeah, 100%. It's the best stack in the game, that will be. But yeah, look, I guess we had a lot of questions throughout the week. I think the majority of the unlimited Q&A that I did on Thursday was like, should I get David Fifita or insert other 2RF like Nicaragua or whoever else? And it was like, Fifita leading up to Origin could go and average 100. And then he misses 4 out of the 7 games through the Origin period. So, like, now we're getting a little bit closer even to Origin. That matchup this week was against Melbourne and he still scored 80. Then he comes up against the Cowboys, the Knights, into the Broncos over the next 3 weeks before Origin.
He would have against defensive stalwart Jeremiah Nanai.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I mean, I don't really feel too confident about anybody being able to kind of cover him well. But the Titans missed 13 on the bye anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered if he was playing Origin or not. And then they've got 14, 15, 16, but unfortunately then he does miss 17 as well. So you are going to miss, basically, you're going to miss 13, 16, and 17 across a 4-week period.
I know it's a new coach, but he's been a historic non-backer upper, or if he does, he plays like fucking 30 minutes anyway. So it's gonna suck. But I think you just let him go. But there's some weird people out there saying he's not gonna play Origin. I just don't see well where he doesn't.
Who are you following?
I don't know. People are just Fafita haters by the sounds of it. Like, bloke's a stud, absolute stud. But yeah, 84, Philip Sami 76, whatever. When Kieran Foran's scoring 73 points, it's just time to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Both for more 46, still at a decent enough ownership. He sucked. He sucked. He's gone 34, 53, 39, 71, 71, which is nice. 49, 59, and then now this week. Like, I'm just not picking guys off injuries next year. Like Sean Lane, both for more.
Isn't it funny how, and look, history kind of repeats itself with this as well. Like sometimes on the small, rare occasion, you're going to get a guy come back and just fucking kill it off the back of an ACL and everything's fine. But for the most part, I reckon at least 60 to 70% of the time, you're going to see that adjustment year and their workload's going to drop and their scoring output's going to drop, their involvement's going to drop purely because they're coming back off a pretty fucking bad injury. So, I mean, I don't think anyone has him anymore except me in draft. Thanks for that. But I wonder if anybody wants to trade for him.
Probably I don't know. You're pretty quick to pull the trigger. I know that you were trying to flick Munster after about 3 weeks of panic.
Yeah, fuck, I may as well have. Aside from the 140, he's done nothing.
Moment of silence for Ryan Pappenhausen. Actually, probably the best case scenario.
It is.
6 weeks is probably the best fucking thing.
100%, especially when you see it's the ankle that he did last year. Fracture just above the plate from last year's injury. So, that kind of normal syndesmosis range, 6 weeks, is great for him, But fuck, how unlucky do you have to be? Really? Like, it's just shit.
And they're all contact injuries as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I want to quickly just put a nip in the bud. Like, people are like, oh, he's so injury prone. All 3 fucking injuries have been contact. Like, there's not much. It was knee on knee, which shattered his kneecap, and then the other 2, he's just been trampled, and his ankle has just been fucked. Like, there's not much he can really do. It's just, shit. But he seems like a really mentally tough guy. So hopefully, hopefully we get Pat back. And I've seen some debate online about holding him, but I can't get around that. I know there's some love for Sua Fa'alongo. Problem with him is he failed to finish the game and quote unquote felt something in his knee, which is not good.
No, that I was frothing when Fa'alogo scored that try at fucking left center off the scrum. Like that was insane. Yeah, that was like Reece Walsh kind of pace that just burnt the center. Like he was just standing still,
stood them up and just went bang.
Yeah, serious different player, but yeah. If he gets named and this injury is nothing, great, an option. But I'd be waiting until the actual.
Any love for Nick Meaney?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, Nick Meaney at fullback has my interest much more than Nick Meaney at centre.
Of course.
But I mean, can someone else take the goal kicking? Because his goal kicking was fucking putrid in this game.
It wasn't good this game. He's normally a pretty decent goal kicker, but definitely wasn't good. This game and nearly cost the Storm the dub. Sean Bloor 65. Fuck, this could have been a lot more. He had 2 line break assists and didn't get the try assist for them because Pappenhausen was pushing back on the inside. But happy with that from him. 58 from Cam Munster. If you jumped on him, it's not amazing, but it's not the end of the world. Like he is an anti-flat track bully. He just doesn't do anything against the shit teams, and then he'll come out and score 140 against the Panthers. It's just what he does. Harry Grant 57. I got a bone to pick with Harry Grant. He is. I'm talking strictly from a Supercoach standpoint. He is washed this year. He is just. What's going on?
I don't know, but I really need to find out. I mean, people are asking, do we sell Harry Grant now? I think it's too far gone. Like
we're way too far gone.
He's probably still going to be someone that we want for the run home. Like a lot of people are going to be scrambling to try and get him in, but the good thing is they're going to be able to buy him at a discount. There's every chance. I think the last 3 years he's dropped in like at least 75K through the Origin period for the last 3 years running. So yeah, you'll get him at a bit of a discount there. And for anybody who started with him like us, look, you just got to kind of lick your wounds really and just cop it. But he's definitely not a sell.
He's still averaging like 62. Like he's still good. It's just like I can get Jacob Little for 54. And it's just like, that's the shit thing. And you got like, I wouldn't even say Blake Briley because he had a try assist and he scored 51, the fraud. But like, yeah, it's just like, he hasn't been bad. He's just another hooker. He's just another guy in the mold. So not great. Eli Katoa, 47 with a try. Yuck.
Did he score? No, he got that try taken off him.
Did he score off the kick? Oh, did it get taken off him? Okay.
Yeah, no, that got taken off him. Yeah. I mean, because I watched the first 5-10 minutes or whatever, and I was like, oh, cool. I saw Eli Katoa chase down the kick and score, and then I looked at his score, and I'm like, how the fuck's he on 7? And like, obviously, had to go back, and they took it off him. So anyway,
I was very much in and out. But yeah, apart from that, Joe Chan just decided to not score 40 points this week. What's going on, Joe?
Was he at centre for a bit? I swear,
so,
like, he was all over the shop.
Which we've seen 2 games of him playing through the middle, uninjury affected, of him scoring 40s. Had a break even of 20 this week, so he will miss that, and he'll have a 15 in his rolling average for a couple of weeks. But I don't know, he's 330k. He'll be 320k this week. It's a fine price to jump off, but like you don't have to. Yeah,
and most of the time he's your 2RF 7 or 6. He's your 2RF 6. So like it's not the end of the world if he drops 20, 30k or whatever until you wait for the right person to jump on. I'm not quite sure how many of those kind of priced, even those mid-range guys that you would jump on at the moment. I think a lot of them have either risen in price or kind of become irrelevant. So yeah, if
he just plods along and just goes from 300 to 330 back to 310 to 320. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I can sell him for KO weeks in a couple of weeks because I do have Max Plath.
Yeah, nice.
But it's like, I don't know if I want to do that.
The problem is that AE nightmare issue, isn't it? It's like, is he going to fuck your VC loop every week? And if that's important to you, maybe he is a trade out at top dollar. But
I think we've seen enough of him in the middle to suggest no. It's just like, you played a fair bit of the game at center, and it was just like, bit shitty. Played half the game at center, I'm pretty sure, because I played a little bit. Yeah, Seaeagles Falingo went off, and they had Tyrant Wishart to cover for a bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with him scoring 35s from the bench. The only dry game that we had this week, Cowboys 26 went down to the Finns 28. Jermaine Sarko is the bane of my existence. Mm-hmm. He fucking killed it last year, so I bought him, and then he sucked. And I said never again. And he just continues to make me look like a fool.
And he started a little bit quiet, dropped a heap of cash, and break even to 39, scores 150 this week, and he's back up to what's that going to be? Close to 800k. So yeah, now it's probably too late. Is it too late to get him now? I mean, I know that Dolphins cover 13, 16, 19, and we've talked about that a fair bit. Like, match up against Manly could be nice. Then the Tigers into New Zealand. Like, I mean, Magic Round against the Tigers could be a handy matchup. Manly, we know they leak points. I mean, I don't hate it. They've got Canberra in round 13 as well on that first major bye. So the draw leading into the first major bye is actually quite nice for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Fish makes a good point. Herbie's back soon. Yep. I don't know. I'd also just rather Dom Young for 520k. I don't want a million Raiders, Dolphins, and Roosters.
Because then one glue hands inside center to another glue hands inside center in Manu.
Yeah, I'd rather have one liability at 500k than one liability at 800k. Like I said, Osako was on 36 last week at the 76th minute mark and finished on 100. So it's just like, it's so rocks or diamonds. Cody Nicarima is the apple of my eye in draft. I picked him up off the waivers in week 1, and he's just been plugged at my 5'8" ever since. And I love that, but no interest in Classic. Same with Avarillo. Ewan Aitken is just, if you go look at COVs, Ewan Aitken is just there. He goes from 58 to 61 and not a point in between. Yep.
Yeah, love Ewan Aitken for that. But I mean, Connolly Lemuelu's floating around now, isn't he? Like, I'm very surprised if Aitken holds that edge spot.
Do you reckon he's holding onto his spot as tightly as Felice Kafusi's holding onto his hair?
Oh fuck! How good is the photo? Apparently, when they interviewed him after the game, he was saying that he's got a family trip to Turkey booked after in the off season. I can appreciate that. That's good.
Just ask the Dolphins for a couple of match payments in advance.
Yeah. Oh fuck! Very good.
Mate, what's going on?
Yeah, that was fucking
Give
bizarre.
Give me Matt phone number.
Ran out. He was like shaving his head, and his clippers ran out halfway through.
Yeah. Give me Matt Lodge's phone number, because brother. Yeah. Let it go, or let's get a transplant happening, because fuck me. Apart from that, I'm not talking about Tessie New or Mark Nichols. JMK with a 52. Max Plath with a 52. Not what I envisioned when I brought him in, but I'll still take it. It's not the worst. Isn't it funny? If he scores a 52, I'm like, it's a bit shit. If he scores like a 59, I'm like, oh man, that's nearly 60. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's such an illusion. He'll make 68K, which is great, so he'll be 500K next week. Is that too late to jump on, considering there's every chance he might have a pretty low break even? It'll probably be in the teens again next week. Is the roll good enough?
Yeah, I think the roll's good enough. It's just, and 5/8 is so unappealing that you can just be like, cool, if he gets me 60 points and the best 5/8 getting me 70, I'd happily just have Plath.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie. I definitely would have loved to get him this week. I just couldn't. But
I'm sorry. I've got to continue to scroll down a fair bit until I get to T4. T4 with a lot of trade-ins.
Yeah.
Twitter was a fun place this weekend.
Oh, fucking hell! There's just some angry people around on the weekend, weren't there? Look, and I get it. Everyone was probably kind of calling it a win when Turbo didn't get 100. And I'll talk you through my mindset of this trade, because I did the Turbo to Fuller trade. The thought process was, if Turbo goes under 120 and Fuller can get 60 plus, I was in a really good position. I was happy to sacrifice the points this week to make the cash, knowing that it was probably a 2-week play as a minimum. And it definitely was a loss. Fuller had an absolute fucking stinker. It was probably one of the worst performances I've seen at fullback, and I kind of felt sorry for him by the end of the game, of the amount that he dropped on his own goal line. 2 ended up being tries of just clean drops on his own goal line. So tough.
Fisher says, we all know that I forced you into the trade. You've been coerced by a podcaster. I've influenced your decision.
Yeah. There's
this is the thing, and this is why it's not a 1-to-1 trade. Like, I saw someone trade out Turbo, trade out Schiller, and trade out Strange, and they brought in Fuller, Asako, and Garrick. Mm-hmm. Now, I'd call that a pretty fucking big win.
100%.
Yeah. You lost 60 points. You lost 60 points on Turbo to Garrick, but you made fucking 110 on Strange to Asako, and Garrick just scored you a ton when Schiller didn't play. I'd call that a big dub.
Of course it's a big dub. People are looking at this whole thing like Turbo versus Fuller.
Yeah, it's not
Turbo versus Fuller. It's Turbo versus Fuller and 600K in your bank that you can do whatever you want with. So I did Lane to Nickera, and the points, obviously, I got 50 more points than Lane got this week. But then what did I do for the other trade? I can't even remember. Oh, I brought in fucking Karaz. So that didn't work. But anyway, disregard that. I've still got 550K in the bank.
For you, it didn't work. Whatever. Like, it's not a Fuller versus Turbo thing. And people are looking at it like that. Like, it's just so stupid. And people are holding Fuller to like this high standard because I don't know why. But like, the cunt's just, sorry, I should not use that word. The bloke just made what, 160K?
Is he make way more? A little bit less. I think it's about 128, 130K. But he also now is walking into a negative 30 break even next week. So like, there's still money to be made next week, and he's coming up against Manly, who concede. Oh, that's right, the most Supercoach points to fullbacks. So like, this was always a fortnight play. So let's just see how he goes next week. Let's hope he holds his spot. Ian Johnson asking in the chat, will Wayne hold strong with Fuller? I'm not quite sure whether there's enough there after a win to drop him. And then who do they use? Unless it's Cody Nicarima, do they just use Cody at the back? I don't know. I don't know the answer. But
I'm more looking at AFL because I bought him Matt Rowell for 650K. And he's on 33 at halftime, which is not good. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, just chill. And people are so hostile. And don't get me wrong, like, people like me, I love to fuel the fire because I had no stake in it. So I'm just like, oh, it's
a good conversation piece though for everyone, because everyone was kind of involved in it. So
it's just people are. It's like, it's not a 1-to-1 thing. Like, people just need to chill out. I'll tell you what is a 1-to-1 thing. Me trading out Taylor May for fucking Darren Martinez Lesniak. Hang on, we haven't even got to that game yet. We've got to talk about the Cowboys. I forgot about them. Ruben Cotter, 99, amazing for owners for him. Crashed over for a try, got bulk-based stats, which is wonderful. Drinky, is he the Pappy replacement? Because his draw is looking electric. 148 break-even last week, so he'll go under. He'll be about if he was 600K, that'd be amazing. He'll be about 750K. and then walks into a pretty golden draw from All Things Considering, if I've got to pull it up. But is he the guy that you're looking at?
Yes. Yeah. It has to be Drinky, I think. I hate just saying, it's one player and one player only because, there's a number of fullbacks. But
I don't know how I can go owning Drinky and Walsh. Those two could score 20 points in 160 minutes of footy.
Or they could score 250 for you in one weekend. So, I mean, you just got to roll that. But yeah, they're playing the Titans next week. That's the matchup you want, Drinky. I think it's next week. He will have 100 break even, I think, 102 he's walking into next week. So that's very achievable against the Titans, who have conceded the most tries to fullbacks this year. I mean,
they just conceded 73 to Pappenhausen in one half. So,
yep, exactly. I think Drinky's the play. I think if you need to go Pappy out, or even if you've had enough of Fuller, I'd probably urge you to hold another week. But if Fuller doesn't get named next week, right, and we need to get a bailout,
sorry, I'm not ingrained into the Fuller camp. Are you boys? Are you members of the Fuller Foundation really looking at pulling up stumps after a week?
No. I'm just saying if he isn't named. If he somehow loses his spot next week, he's got a negative 30 break even.
I was just going to say, he's got like minus 30 break even.
Yeah, no. We'll take the cash next week, hopefully. But let's just say worst case scenario, he isn't named because he had a shocker. Then you could easily get to Drinky. So that's the bailout option there. But Jeremiah Nanai was like sub 500K at one point and gained 36K last week, and now he will gain more money and be back up closer to 600K. Origin kind of makes it a little bit less intriguing, I guess, for Nanai.
Yeah. I was keen a while ago, but like the inconsistencies, I thought his floor was there, but the inconsistencies of his floor were like, I'll just let it go through the keeper. Tom Dearden, he could be a guy. He's also very inconsistent. Like he's got a great ceiling. He's got a terrible floor. Reece Robson, though, he's probably been the standout hooker this season. Before this game, averaging 67. Was in a bit of a form slump, a 3-round average of 49, but really bounced back this week. 75 points from him. Yeah, he's probably been the best hooker this year, which is great. And then as plenty of people are putting in the chat, Val Holmes, 59, and I watched him touch the ball probably 4 times.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I know, obviously, when we own players like this, we watch them a lot harder for obvious reasons. And, even 26 points, I think he missed 2 goal kicks as well. So, that doesn't necessarily help. But, yeah, look, can you complain about a 59 from a centre wing? No, not really. But it was just the matchup. Yeah, it was the matchup this week. Everyone was hopefully get over for a try, and he just didn't see any ball. But yeah, I mean, there's also been conversation about selling Val. Like he's going to drop 40K now coming into Origin. I'm just going to hold. I think he's a season hold for me.
I bought him for 800K. I knew full well that I was buying overpriced, but I knew that I was buying a season-long keeper.
Yep.
And
Cowboys have 2 of the major buys as buys anyway. So,
yeah, which is fine. We've said this a couple of times. You prefer that for your Origin players. You prefer their teams to have the major buys. But yeah, let's get back to my rant on DWZ. Fuck me, he stinks. 19 points. I bought him, and he's gone 61, 48, and 19. Fuck it now.
Yeah, and he was fucking awful today as well. Like, I know it was wet, it was pissing down, and yeah, it's harder for outside backs in the wet and blah, blah, blah. But fuck, he just made all the wrong decisions. He just couldn't hold on to the ball. Like, he cramped the center. Like, there was just a lot going on for Dallin, and defensively, he was pretty bad as well. Like, yeah, all right, you got to bail now, don't you?
Fuck, I don't know. I mean, I think it just sums up my Supercoach season when the referee's like, you know what? I think that's a try, but he doesn't get it. So it's like, whatever. Break-even was 100. Break-even was 102 this week. There was worse weeks. There was probably better weeks for you to. I wish you didn't stink it up. He's going to lose 70K. Fuck, he's going to be 600.
Yeah. And he's going to be walking into a big break-even next week too.
I don't know. Like, I've got 350K in the bank, so I can just do him to like, Ruben or Osako or Tom Young and bank even more, and then go like a lane to a Primo. But I don't know. Like the draw, it's not great. Like, I'll be honest, it's the Roosters into Penrith into the Dolphins, and then the bye.
Nah, you got to bail. I reckon you got to get off next week.
Oh, because he's gonna score fucking 4, and I'll slip my wrists.
Will he?
Anyway.
Can we talk very quickly about what your thoughts are on why that mid-air tackle kind of try? I know we dropped it in goal, but why that's not given a penalty try?
I don't know. I don't understand why it's not a try. Like if he did that 1 meter in line, like if he was in the field, that's Greg Marsh just sent for 10 for a professional foul. It's like I just don't really understand it, but whatever. It's just it is what it is. Okay, Dylan Walker 73, cool. Adam Fanua-Blake 66, all base. Really promising if you're an owner. I know it's not the 100 points with the try that you all expect, but 66 BP for Adam Fanua-Blake is really, really good. And if that's the worst you're getting from him in the piercing down wet affair, amazing.
Yep, for sure. I don't own him. Probably won't own him for the short term anyway until he drops back in price. But if you got him, enjoy yourself. What else have we got here for the Tohu Harris was 61, not overly relevant this year because he doesn't have the duel. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, another 48. How many more like sub 50 scores are we going to get from him? Like, I know it's not panic stations. There's no need to trade him because it's fine.
I don't care. Like, I feel like I'm the only person that just doesn't care. Like, I feel like I watch him every week. And I'm like, fuck, you've been so terrible today. And you look at his Supercoach score and he scores 50. You're like, all right.
There's no panic. There's no panic stations. It's just like, I'd love for them to start actually realizing that they've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in their fucking backline. Like just maybe once, just one game.
So each week we have 3 buys, 3 holds, 3 sells. I feel like each week 2 of the 3 holds are just Taylor May and Roger Tuivasa.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Yeah. 48 updates. I don't think updates are in yet. Very quickly, I will check.
Not for this game.
No, they're not. So, I mean, look, he probably gets upgraded over 50 with a couple of extra fucking effective offloads or something. So, yeah, you don't complain with over 50 from a center wing, but he'll probably be the center wing 5. Everyone just fucking has there. And
it's so funny. People are like creaming themselves over Karaz, being like, "Oh yeah, you got 54 BP, amazing," and then RTS gets 51, and everyone's like, "No, fucking bum, useless."
Yep. SJ 44. Again. In the wet, I think he was on like 20 because I was versing Hamo in a game and in a head-to-head this week, and SJ was on like 20 with like 15 minutes left, and they had so much good attack, like good, field position inside the opposition 20. So he racked up a few forced dropouts and a couple of he was so close to scoring. I was shitting myself, but he finished on 44. So a bit of a shit go for owners there.
Another one of these ones where like I love fantasy sometimes because he got 51 in fantasy just based off all kick meters, and I was like, amazing. I love when my players go well in fantasy and suck in Supercoach that I don't own. Really good. Chance 39. Yeah, he was fine in fantasy. I think he got like mid 30s. 39 for Chance is just like, has hell frozen over?
It's very low, isn't it? Like normally he would base 50. So
yes, very low.
Kind of strange, but again. You can't really go and base too much of what we've seen today in both games. You can't really look at it and go, that's a trend I need to be concerned about just because of the weather.
Is there any love for Laban moving forward? I mean, I know Marata Niokore is back relatively soon, but Capewell is looking like he's going to spend a bit of time on the sidelines. So you got Laban or Niokore, so definitely worth a watch there. But for the Knights, Jackson Hastings top score with a 62, Greg Marzi with a 62, and he's back. I'm potentially looking at him, and I mean, oh my god, Marzi had 109 break even this week. He's gonna be under 500k probably. Yep. Are we gonna see Greg Marzi with a 4 in front of his name?
Oh, he's versing the Tigers next week. Scully Park in Tamworth.
In Tamworth, far out.
Am I? Fuck. Again, so he's got Tigers into Gold Coast the next 2 weeks. Greg Margie. You're going to have to do some serious talking to talk me out of just taking a punt.
I'm probably going to pick up 2 volatile high ceiling center wings this week. I'm probably going to pick up Marzu and Dom Young. And it's just like, so Marzu 62 with 1 line break assist and a forced dropout. All right, Tom Burgess. So he got 14 points in attack. So what's that? 44 in BP.
Yep. 48.
Kind of what you paid. 48. Kind of what you paid for at 400k. So yeah,
not too bad. Definitely sure.
Yeah. Also Gagai as well. Gagai with a 60 goal kicking, which is really nice. We touched on him last week. He is going to be about 650k, so much more expensive than a Marzu. But probably has a bit of floor, so take it with what you want. KPP with a 51, not amazing, but in the wet, whatever. But David Armstrong, I've seen a bit of discourse on the socials about people like, well, is he a fade now? No, he's not.
No, he's fine. No issue. Bottom dollar, center wing cheapie. I think, minus 41 break even. That'll probably go to like, what, minus 60 next week?
Yeah, 60, 65, thereabouts, yeah.
So that's that. And so people are going to buy him next week. They play the Tigers. It'll be in, Tamworth. I'm sure the weather will be okay.
Fast track at Sky Park.
Yeah.
Can speak from experience. Fast track.
They will definitely, there'll be some points scored in that game regardless, I think. So I think he's a good option next week.
Tell you what, Joey Lussick's looking pretty good when I'm sitting here looking at Jayden Brailey.
I was about to say, Jayden Brailey's minutes. What the fuck's going on there? Like that, him and what's his name, Phoenix Crossland, just had a minute share. They just played like 40 each.
Just rotate, just by committee. Just book it by committee. So kind of poo poo from AOB considering. Yeah, he's played Brailey okay minutes the last couple of weeks, but I guess in the wet you just want to keep guys somewhat fresh. But yeah, he's gone. Brailey since his return has gone 61, 70, 80 in terms of minutes. And then AOB just, you know what? I'm just going to sit you pretty much the entire second half.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't know. Doesn't make sense. I didn't make the move. I'm glad. My weekend wasn't great to start with, but like that would have really buried me, I reckon, if I tried to make some cash from Lussick to Brailey and then that happened. I think if you've got Harry Grant and you've got Joey Lussick, I think you're stuck with them. I think you just got to ride that train now.
Yeah, you want to upgrade Lussick sooner rather than later.
Yeah, at some point.
But the question is to who?
How long is Brendan Hands going to hang around on the bench? Probably like 2-3 weeks, and then he's going to fuck off when Bryce Cartwright comes back.
Yeah, when Cardi's back, that's what I'm thinking too. It's just like when Cardi's back, like does he come? Like what happens? So definitely worth. Or is Luca Moretti in the long term plans of Brad Arthur? Who fucking knows? Last game of the round: Sharks 20, Dragons 10. Nico Hines was on about 20 points at half time, and I was like, for fuck's sake.
You know what? I didn't even care.
Never get him right.
The captaincy did not fucking matter this week because I think 87% of the top 10% of teams captain Nico Hines. It didn't matter what he got. He could have got 20 or 100 and it wouldn't have ruined my weekend at all. But no. He got 95. That's all. That's kind of fine. In that weather, that's great.
How annoyed are you at the fact that we all preseason were joking about Royce Hunt, and then when he wasn't named, we were like, all right, Tom Hazelton's actually the guy to buy. We didn't fucking do it. Like, I feel like we were the only people that were pumping up Tom Hazelton's tires in the preseason. And he's just come out, man. Like, he started the season at, 340K? He's got 44.26. I would have been very, very hard-pressed to hold the faith there.
Yeah.
But then since then, 90, 51, 54, 69, 82, and then another 70-point performance today, 79 today. Like, he's been really good. He's been a poor man's AFB with the attack.
He's been so fucking good. Shout out to my father-in-law, Peter, who bought him 3 weeks ago. And he messaged me and he goes, "Oh, this Tom Hazelton, he's done all right. He's not too bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, probably not the guy I'd be buying. You're kind of his peak." And he's like, "Yeah, no, that's cool. He doesn't really look at money made and all that kind of shit. He just picks players that look like they're doing well." And one of the best trades I've seen.
Mate, Tom Hazelton's going to be 615K.
It's fucking wild, man. That is insane. Coming off 82 and what do you get? 79.
Oh, fuck it.
Good on you. If you have him. Of the 2,100 people traded him in this week too.
And five traded him out. 5 said, "You know what? Said enough." Cash out. Oregon Kafusi scored as well. Cam McInnes with a 60, just doing what Cam McInnes does. As you can see from my handle, Kale Eero Superfan. This guy, how good is this bloke? Because absolute stud.
Yep. He
does
was
nothing. Does nothing.
Yeah. He didn't even need attack. I don't remember the last time. Actually, got
one line break, but still 50 points BP.
Off the back of that line break, he had an error where Ben Hunt knocked the ball out of his hand. So, that happened 2 or 3 times as well. So, Eero had some errors in this game and still scored 60 on his dick, doing nothing. So, if you don't have him now, you're just 384K minus 4 break even. It's going to be 430 next week.
The really good thing is, Talakai looked really good in the middle too. So it's just like, Eero looked really good in centers. Talakai looked good in the middle. It's like, oh, this is the best.
Yep, he was great. Britton Nicker at 57, which is fine. I'll happily take a 57 as someone who bought him this week. Talakai 54 with a try. Other than that, Blake Brailey, I know some people looking at.
Played 80 minutes. Try assist, line break assist. Scored 20 points. How do you score 31 points in BP as an 80-minute hooker?
He had 33 tackles as well.
That's all he does.
Tackles, 5 misses, 5 points in runs as well. So he's not running the ball much. 3 runs all game.
Look, as much as we love to poo-poo Braden Trindle, that left-hand side is just fucking cooked without him. Would you say
it's just non-existent. Like, what, Mulatalo now is pretty much dead and buried.
Yeah, I was just like, do you sell him? He put up 41 today with a break-even of 103, so he's going to be somewhere around that 750k. It's like, do you just cash out?
With the amount of probably good, like, so many good centre wing options that are like a lot cheaper, you can bank 200k and go to, I mean, actually not anymore. You can't go to Garrick now and make that money.
You can go to Marju and make 250k.
Yeah. And look, you know, with how right side dominant they are with Nico, we knew this. Like, he did this all last year. Like, but the problem was, why was Mulatalo scoring well last year before Trindle came into the team? What's changed?
To be fair, Matt Moylan was actually pretty good for that team.
Yeah. Yeah, in attack. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, not defense. No, not defense.
You make a good point. He probably got him involved a fair bit more. But I'd probably sell Mulatalo now, to be honest.
Do you go down to a Marju or Young, or do you go up to a Garrick or a Sarko?
Oh, you know what? I'd probably go up to a Sarko. Or I'd go down to a Sarko. You could still make money from that trade this week.
Jesus Christ.
I think. But yeah, that's a sideways. It's sideways Mulatalo to Osako next week. And, you know, depending on what your buy numbers look like, I think that could be a decent play, I think. I'm just looking at the Sharks draw as well. They got Melbourne next week at Amy Park. That's not going to be fun. Into the Roosters at Magic Round in Suncorp, into the Panthers. Nah, fucking get off the Sharks. Like, that's, any outside backs for the Sharks, as good as Nico Hines has been, you hold him, but you fuck off everyone else.
Anyone not named Kale Ero or Nico Hines, it's just like... Yeah.
Or Nico, I can probably get away with as well, but yeah, the rest of them go.
No thanks. For the Dragons, Michaeli Ravalawa, 464k.
Yeah, with a double. I'm not touching him. I don't know what it is about Ravalawa, but like, I feel like even when he goes and scores 2 or 3 tries a fucking game, he can still get dropped because he's that bad defensively. So
sorry, you mean Ravalawa, not Sivo, yeah?
I do mean Ravalawa, not Sivo. But both could fall into that same category, I think, just in different teams. But yeah, great for owners. If you have him this week, fantastic, congratulations. But 12 people traded him in.
I was going to say great for the 12 people.
Very well done. Do you remember we had a conversation like 6 weeks ago about Tom Eisenhuth and the fact that, you know, we probably just couldn't do it because
because the fraud played on the edge in the trials and had a BPM of about 0.3. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I can't do it. And then ever since then, he's just played middle and has just been elite. He's going to be 520k next week. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, crazy. I mean, it's not like he's blown the world apart. Like, he's had 1 score above 60 all year, aside from today as well. That's his 2nd score above 60 all year. So it's not like he's been like this world beater, but yeah, I mean, good enough this week. What else have we got? Jacob Little, 61. I mean, like, we were talking about him like 2 months ago. Probably not talking about him now. Benny Hunt, 55. Sewer, 50. Lomax, 45 is probably the one I'd wouldn't mind touching.
Lomax, and Ian Johnson says what happens to Lomax. It's just the product of playing centre. Like, it's just what it is. Like, him at centre sucks. Him at fullback is good. Him at wing is good. Him anywhere else is just like, 45 to 60 points. And that's about all he is.
And like, notoriously over his whole career, he's been a 55 to 60 average Supercoach player because he's played centre his whole career. So now we're just seeing, I guess, a product of those kind of scores coming back in.
Oh yeah, just reverting back to the mean. Like, he'll go back to the wing and be great. But yeah, him at centre was always pretty pooey. Apart from that, mate, there is not much else to talk about here. This roster is pants. There is nothing. Yep. I'll tell you what, I'm going to say the two most highly unliked players in my NRL world at the moment. Reid Marnie's up there. He's one of them just because he's like, he knows that he can go into fucking big fellas and just not get hit. So just a little fucking chihuahua that gets in there and just, you know, throws his weight around. And another one, you know what, is Kyle Flanagan.
I don't know what it is about that guy, but everything about Kyle Flanagan I can't stand.
Punchable head.
Yes, very punch. And he's just he's just a yapper, just someone that fucking chirps up a fair bit and knows that he can't get whacked. I would love, actually, no, I don't like people getting hit, but I'll tell you what, like there needs to be a bit more threat for these little guys to stop fucking running in the third man in. Should be like a license to be able to get whacked if you're the third man in.
Yes.
That's my rant. Thanks for coming.
The Tane Milne situation. We have a couple of questions started, and then we'll wrap it up. Can we get some replacements on Adam Reynolds? I have 158k to spare. I don't even know how much Adam Reynolds is. Let me have a quick look. I would imagine he's about 500.
I'll quickly. Where is? Oh, I had
Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds is 648 with the 600 break even, so he'll be about 600. So pretty much we can afford any halfback that's not Nicho Hynes.
One thing we didn't mention, did Jerome Hughes go down with an injury? I think it was a calf or something.
Yeah, so he had a calf complaint and stayed on because they had no one else. But yeah, with his history of calf complaints, I'd be shocked if he's named next week.
I mean, at that price point, we don't really have many options at around the 600k mark. Like, would it be worth? Like, here's a question: if you don't have Nathan Cleary because he missed this week and you didn't go and buy him, but you were planning on getting him and you've got Nicho, would you buy Cleary now this close to Origin knowing that there's every chance that he won't back up?
Bro, there's no one. Like, I'm filtering by average and it's like Jerome Hughes probably won't play next week. DCE's 800k. SJ, well, the team sucks.
And the draw sucks.
Matt Burton's 770k. I'm sorry, what? And then like Mitch Moses is injured, Adam Reynolds is injured, and Jackson Hastings, I just couldn't bring myself. Like, do you just go Sam Walker?
Yeah, not really. I mean,
530k, very rocks or diamonds, minus 11 break even this week, so he'll be somewhere in the 570 range. Like, he's probably the guy.
Where's Mitchell Cinders Moses back? When's he due? He's still a month away?
He's supposed to be 12, but apparently he's your favorite term, tracking well. And they fucking need him. So
yeah, okay, yeah, maybe. Fuck, I just don't like. I don't like the Sam Walker move. Okay, what would you pay it for Cleary?
You have to. Like, this is the thing. Like, there's just no one. Like, and the shit thing is, like, I don't think Nicho Hynes ever gets arrested unless they're playing the Tigers and they're 6 points clear at the top of the table where they can afford to lose. And Trindle's back. And
again, yeah, look, I mean, we're kind of going through that Origin period with the two best halfbacks, expecting them probably not to play anyway. So yeah, fuck, I'd probably just spend up and just.
You just need one of them to back up, and I think Cleary is much less likely to back up, and Nicho Hynes is more likely to back up. So, yeah, it's grim.
So to answer your question, I don't know. Maybe just spend up.
If you can't spend up, I would say Sam Walker just by. There's no one else. And I don't love it, but yeah, get Cleary if you can. Fisher says when to buy Cleary is going to be the rough part for me, and that's the thing. Like, you just never know. Like, if you don't have him now, you don't need a halfback. Do you just wait until like round 20?
Yeah, look.
Like, if you have SJ and Hynes,
just hold.
It's like you can't buy Cleary until like round 20.
No, there's no point in going SJ to Cleary because SJ is good enough for the most part, and unless obviously this injury gets the better of him, and then you'll have to make a move down the track. But I don't think going to Cleary now makes much sense when they've shown now there's a predisposition for them to rest him, especially through this Origin period.
Don't need him. Like, it's not like he's not like he's Hynes where they're like, fuck, we need you because we have no one else. Like, Brad Schneider is just, it's fine. Isaiah Yeo is a perfectly good other halfback in your team. So
fair.
Yeah. Super Chef. Oh no,
sorry, we both clicked it.
Oh my goodness, get off. Super Chef, is Fafita, I'm assuming that's Fafita, a must, or is there more suitable second rowers to get? Now I'm filtering by second rowers by averages. He is clear. He is averaging 84. The next best is Asu Kapawa with his one game of 81. You're taking him out. The next best is Isaiah Yeo. And if you don't buy Fafita because of Origin, you're probably not buying Isaiah Yeo. Hamola is suspended. Eli Katoa is probably the next best. I mean, we expect Carrigan and Hopgood to both play Origin. And then it sort of drops off a cliff dramatically. Then you're looking at like Victor Radley, Jaden Stewart, Teague Wilton. So do you just wait and get Hamole? Because he's also like, we're generally looking at down the barrel of the top 6 of the top 7 2RFs are going to be playing Origin, apart from Eli Katoa.
I think Hamole probably still does play, to be honest. I think he's been on the radar for way too long for them to go, oh, he's missed 2 weeks. He gives a fuck. Well, that won't matter.
Who are they picking? Because, like, in my team, and I'm obviously the be-all and end-all when it comes to footy knowledge, I've got Crichton and Hamole with Liam Martin off the bench. If you prefer Liam Martin to start, you can have Liam Martin and Olakau'atu too, and then you have Crichton off the bench. Like, there's no real with Murray going down. Like, what edges are there? If I'm just missing someone.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I to be honest, don't mind Eli Katoa. If you don't have Eli Katoa, I don't mind him as a pick. No, for as a trade in.
Eli Katoa in Sky Blue.
Yeah, fuck, that'd be nice. Is Fafita a must? I mean, the answer is probably no. Because he's going to miss some games.
He's pretty much as close to a must as you can be, but no, I just think with Origin, like if we saw this form in round 4, then I'm ripping up hell and high water to get him. Yeah, but I just don't know how much game time he plays.
Melbourne have the Sharks next week into Para. Para, that could be a nice matchup into Manly. So I mean, like, the draw isn't too bad for Melbourne in leading into Origin. He just misses 13. Which isn't ideal for Eli Katoa, but I mean, it's
best 13, so whatever. We answered Breezy Easy, and we came to the conclusion of Sam Walker by process of elimination. And this question is probably just process of elimination to Eli Katoa. Like, if Billy Walters, if Billy Slater came out and said, "Hey, Jermaine Hopgood is not playing Origin this year," I'd buy him, but I think he does. I think we have to play him. I think Carrigan and Cotter probably play prop. And
he's fucking built for Origin, Jermaine Hopgood. Like, they'd be silly not to get him in there. I mean, they had him in camp last year. Like, they were clearly planning on making this move. So
we're gonna have such a small forward pack. Holy shit! It'll be like Lindsay Collins, who's like not a huge man. He's like he's girthy, but he's not. Play
Lindsay Collins at fullback. You'll be fine.
Under the high ball. Like when you think about it, our forward pack's gonna be really small. It'll be like Cotter, it'll be Carrigan, it'll be Collins, Fodawaker, Hopgood.
Yeah.
Small and Flegler, like, not a huge pack.
Yeah, that's true. No, a bit of mongrel in that pack though. I think you make up for it.
Oh, Ruben Cotter is 6'8" when he wears a fucking Queensland jersey, so he'll be sweet.
Most of them are.
Mitchell Finch. I haven't pre-screened this, but let's go. Looking at Drinkwater's draw and thinking he's the play this week. Would you rather trade Turbo or Walsh? Neither. Like, surely people have got bigger problems than to be luxury trading fullbacks at this point.
The good thing is Drinky's break even is still 100 next week. So, like, yes, the points are going to be there and it's going to be a nice matchup to grab Drinky, but I think you can even get him the week after. I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, yes, it'd be nice to get him for the Gold Coast Titans matchup, but the 100 break even means that even if he goes and scores 120, great, that's fine. But Turbo next week could easily score 120 in that matchup. He's playing the Dolphins next week. So, he could do anything in that. He scored 123 against them last year in the only game he's played against the Dolphins. So, I wouldn't be trading Turbo for Drinky this week. And Walsh, I mean, he's goal kicking, but you also probably only bought Walsh 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't trade either of them.
I'm genuinely considering just not trading Pappy this week and getting my bottom dollar center wings in Marzu and Young, and then just like assessing Drinkwater. Because if he's got 100 break even, Drinkwater, he's not a 160 kind of guy. Like, if Drinkwater has a great game, you'll get 120. And I'm like, cool, I paid 20K extra.
Yeah.
But Walsh's draw, I don't really know why you'd be looking at selling. It's Parramatta, Manly, and then the Titans, and then probably selling in round 13 because he has the bye. Walsh has got a pretty good Origin schedule. He will only miss one game, which is round 19.
Yeah,
like, Walsh should be a season-long hold.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, no one bought him 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago to just buy him as a 4-week play. Like,
oh no! And if you're surprised about seeing Reece Walsh score a 51, then sorry, but you're very lucky you got a 51. He could have got a fucking 12.
It's a rocks and diamonds play. You get your 120 and he'll get you 10. That's just Reece Walsh.
Last question. We have 300 people watching, which is elite. Last question, and probably the most sad one. Captain Harry. I don't want to single you out, my friend, but I'm going to. I traded out Angus
one
Crichton.
person traded out. It wasn't him.
Oh, one person. One person traded Angus Crichton this week, and I want to know why. And I want to have a debate on this because I generally think there is people that play this game to rank as poorly as possible. Because you look at some of these trades, and it's like, what's going on?
Because they do that in FPL, don't they? I'm not super deep into FPL. It's like anti-teams and shit.
And you can't pick players that just don't play because then you actually lose points. But so surely people trade out guys like Angus Crichton for I don't know who's a really shit player. I say Elliot Whitehead, but he's actually scored pretty well this week. But I feel like people would do that. Yeah. Trent Lee.
Sorry, Trent Learo.
Joe Chan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
very important.
There's some wild trades out there, and 5 people traded out Tom Hazelton this week, so another one that went well. But
yes,
what are your early trade thoughts, my friend? If I had to put a gun to your head and say make your trades right now, what are you thinking?
I did not get Armstrong early, so I've got the option to get him next week, and I probably will just because the break even and the money is going to be nice. So I will do Salmon, who's in my center wing. I'll go him down to Armstrong, so that'll be an extra 150k. I should have about nearly 700k in the bank then, so I can do any move that I want in terms of an upgrade. Now, I've currently got Joe Chan on the bench. I've got Smithies sitting there on a buy that I might need to hold so that I have a loop option. I've got Lussick, who I probably don't want to spend a trade at hooker. I really don't know. My center wing is kind of Holmes, Carraz, Garrick, Tuivasa, Sheck, and Iro. I don't know whether I'll make another trade if I'm completely honest.
I don't know what to do with Jacob Gagai.
Oh, I'm just going to hold him
because I can go Watani Lesniak to Dom Young, and I can go Gagai to Marzu, and it's is that worth it?
Fuck. I mean,
because or I can sell Blaze. I can sell Blaze Talangi as well. He's another guy.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we wait and see whether Blaze Talangi lines up at fullback next week, which is the touted move for Gutho, and then you make your call on that. But I mean,
I'm very tempted to just skip Drinkwater for a week and just assess.
Yeah, I think that's probably the play. I mean, I've got Fuller, so I'll wait another week on him unless he's not named. So I don't really need to make a move at fullback. I don't need to make a move aside from the downgrade for Armstrong at center wing. I could actually, you know what I could do? I could upgrade to Murray Martin, which could be on the cards next week. So I might make that move. It just depends on which 5'8" I want to get.
I could also just do Pappenhausen to Young or Marzu via Iro.
I do like Young and Marju are definitely two really nice buys next week.
Well, I can get them both, but it's do I trade them out for Gagai and use all my money in the bank, or do I trade them out for Pappenhausen via Kale Iro and still have 300k sitting there for a a Sean Lane to a I don't know, Eli Katoa or something like that. But
yeah,
I'm not sure. Not sure. We've also got a Terrell May size hole that we're probably gonna have to plug in 3 weeks time.
Yep. Yeah, Sam Hughes starting to top out.
I'd love a boost right about now.
I've only got one left. Speaking to Oman earlier, and he might pull his last boost next week. I really don't want to, but yeah, if I can put some stuff together, I might. We'll see. But
lastly, what do you think on KPP? Keep season-long keeper?
I think so. I mean, long term, if we're at a point where we've got 19 or 20 primos, 21 primos or whatever, and you've made good cash and you want to make an upgrade, I haven't even looked at the Knights draw for the run home. But look, if it doesn't look great for the run home,
relatively good. Tigers, Sharks, Souths, Titans, Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll just hold him, I think, and I'll just play. I'm just
looking are we blinded by the 2 back-to-back 80 scores because it's been 67, 65, 50, 44, 41, 50. It's are we blinded by these scores or is he a season-long key? But these are all just the thoughts that I've got. We'll assess them on Tuesday. It'll just be Braino and I yet again. And it shouldn't go for 2 hours.
No, it won't. It's only the 3 of us chatting away when they go for a while. But no, that'll do us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hopping on. Join the Discord if you haven't as well. It is a free Discord. Jump in, have a chat, talk Supercoach. But it's not just NRL. It's all the sports. And then obviously, if you want access to us, all of our trades and our final thoughts and all the numbers and shit like that we look at throughout the week, we share them with our Insight Unlimited members. It's only $25 to join. So hop in one of our DMs and we'll sort you out. Hit subscribe and like. We'd love that. And we will see you Tuesday for TLT. Until then, catch you later.
Cheerio.